Ellis Cooper.
I'm talking
Tatiana
Spencer,
Sophie Lloyd,
Sebastian Bach, Scotty and
Ryan Red. Rob Flynn. Mike Portnoy.
Lisa.
Sobre la dosis. Sobre la dosis.
Sobre la dosis.
SOBRE la dosis.
SOBRE la dosis. It's a great metal podcast.
Jonathan Montenegro.
Jonathan Montenegro.
Jonathan Montenegro. Jonathan Montenegro.
Jonathan Montenegro. Let's go!
You better be listening because I know where you live.
Jonathan Montenegro from Sobre la Dosis. This is Bobby Blitz. Answering your cameo and answering your questions. I assume somewhere this is going to be played on the air. That you're going to take some of these answers and cut them into your radio show, which I'm 100% fine with. And the first question was about Exodus and Overkill. Who came first? Was it the chicken or was it the egg? But I do remember hearing about Exodus when we were a band. That was the first time I heard about them. But, you know, as I looked back and realized they actually started at least a year, if not more, earlier than us. They were 79. That was the original lineup with those dudes. That's with Tom and Kirk. And we were not until 80 or 81, actually. I always believed it was 81. I think Dee Dee's the one who thinks it was 80. But when it comes to releasing, I think their demo was first, the Exodus demo. That was obviously a reflection to some degree of Bonded by Blood. And Our Power in Black was second. I think we were 83 and they were 82. When it came to the record, we actually released before them, but I think that they had a holdup with Torrid Records. We released in, I mean, we're talking like a matter of days, and I actually had to look this up. It was April of 85. I think we were like the 15th. They were the 25th, you know, something like so. But I had heard about... you know, what they were going to be. I mean, I'd heard something through the demo, I remember. But there was a guy, the guy who owned and ran Torrid Records was Todd Gordon. He was a local New York guy. And he said, man, when you hear this band, you're not going to believe it. And he was right. I mean, they were something very, let's say, revolutionary with regard to changing the sound and the genre themselves. On to the second question, my favorite albums by decade. You know, which is kind of tough because I mean, I do think of the band in chapters, and the chapter, I like to think of it as, you know, with regard to lineups. And that first lineup, you know, was in the 80s. And I would think that, you know, we culminated that with the Years of Decay. That was a 1989 release. And I think that was the best record we had done with that lineup, Bobby Gustafson and Rat Skates, Dee Dee Verney and myself. But then we went into Horoscope the year that followed that, into the 90s, which I love the record. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think it's one of our top three, for that matter. But I also, from the 90s, with the lineup of Horoscope being Rob Cannavino and Merrick Gant, Sid Falk on the drums, but then later on Tim Mallory comes in, Sebastian Marino, Joe Comeau. I love From the Underground and Below, 1987. In the 2000s, that was a tough era for us. But if I had to, it would be 2004's Killbox 13. Something really special about that record. Colin Richardson was at the helm, who we're going to use for the next Overkill record, by the way. And he really he produced the whole thing and recorded the tracks with us. Something about Colin where he can bring the best out in us, and I always think of that record as a pretty heavy piece of real estate. 2010's Ironbound, for fucking sure, is the record of that decade for us. And I guess that kind of, you know, I'm not going to say it's a comeback, but for sure it was, let's say, a return to form with regard to, you know, what we do best, and that's thrash. So 2010, I would pick Ironbound. Electric Age was good, which followed it too. So if it wasn't going to be Killbox in the 2000s and Ironbound fit in there, then I would say the Electric Age that followed Ironbound would be, you know, 2010 plus. So I hope that answered what you need. Good luck with your radio show. This is Bobby Blitz from Overkill on Sobre la Dosis. Motherfucker. I'm Bobby Blitz and I approve this message. Take care, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, Bobby. Sorry, I missed that last question. I jumped right off there. With regard to Evil Never Dies, it was done intentionally where it cuts off in the scream and the music. And the point was that we were trying to imply that there was more to come with regard to that song. It's actually the fourth of the Overkill saga that we had done, Overkill 1, 2, and 3. Evil Never Dies is actually the fourth segment of that. And I think later on we did, on Immortalis, we did a song called The Brand, which was Overkill 5. So there's your answer to that. I hope this didn't erase the rest of the cameo I did for you. Interesting questions. Enjoy, my friend. Get back to me if for some reason you don't have 1 and 2. Horns up.